Everybody, welcome to Homeschool Teens with Jenny. I haven't been around in a while to give you guys an update on the World Geography and Ecology by Beautiful Feet. So today I want to talk about what first semester was like in this new course that was released by them just a couple years ago. The main spine for teachers, not spine, but guide, is the World Geography and Ecology Teacher Guide. This has everything that you need in it. It also comes with a PDF, and the PDF has all the links and the downloads and things that you will need. When you go to this YouTube video in the teacher guide in print, you obviously can't click on that and you don't want to type in a long website address. But what I like about the PDF is it basically mirrors the teacher guide, but it has active links. So you can click on the videos that you want to watch, and it just makes it a lot easier. So this has been very helpful in guiding us through this study. One thing I did want to mention that we really have enjoyed is the rabbit trail page. There is a one-page spread for each continent, and they have alternative books. So if there's a book that they picked out that you're not really a fan of, or your child's not a fan of, you can look on the rabbit trails, and we actually did that for one of the books in Asia that I'll tell you about coming up. So that has been one of my favorite features. The main books that we use in this course is the DK Student Atlas. This is for really labeling the world map. The project that they're working on throughout the whole year is to label every country in the world by the end of the course, and this really helps them get there. It also has information in here that they read from as well on the continents and the geography of the continents. This they call a supplement guide or a supplement book, but I bought it. It's a beautiful book called The Book of Nations. It highlights every country in the world, and it just gives you fun facts about each country, and it gives you pictures. And so I have her look up every country that she's working on her map and ask her to read that as well. And then she can be exposed to what their flag looks like and what some of the top facts about that country are. This book is another main one, and this is The Wondrous Workings of Planet Earth, and this is more on the ecology side. So when you're talking about the ecosystems and the animals and the different terrain, you will be reading out of this book. It's a beautiful book, the illustrations, and you're usually only reading 2 pages at a time, and this has been very helpful as well. So some of the books that she's read, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind was first. She really enjoyed that and still wants to see the movie. We still haven't watched it together, but we will. We went to the rabbit trails to replace the red pencil. There was nothing wrong with this except it's written in verse. And my daughter was not super excited to read a book in verse. So she asked if she could go to the rabbit trails and pick a different book, and I asked that she just pick one from Africa. And so she did When Stars Are Scattered, and she really enjoyed this one a lot. As we went into Asia, we started in India, and that's where this story takes place. It's called The Night Diary. She wasn't too crazy about this one. She kind of forced herself through it, but I asked her in the end if it ended up being good. And she said, yeah, but she wasn't like super excited about it. But this is a little girl. Her mom had passed away years before, and she writes letters to her mom about the things going on in her life currently. So that's kind of how this is structured. Then we went to Vietnam with The Land I Lost. And this is a book I pre-read. And this book right here is now the reason why I pre-read every book before she does. This book on the back says it's for ages 7 to 10. And let's just say we stopped at a certain point because things got extremely graphic. There were just images in my head after reading it that I couldn't get out of my head that I wanted out of my head. And they were just violent. And I just didn't want those images planted in my daughter's head forever, or for her to be traumatized, because it was pretty intense. So we read half of this book. Basically, I got her to the point of that really bad violent scene, and I said, don't read past here. So we did not move forward to read that. But I will say this book really did shape a picture of what it was like to live in a small village in Vietnam. And it really talked about their interactions with animals and how some were good and some were terrifying. And some of the interactions were a little violent, but they weren't like anything that made a huge impact on me. But the one I'm talking about was kind of on another level. So I would just say if you choose to read this book, which I said the first half I think gives you a great understanding and picture about what it would be like to live in a small village in Vietnam. I think it has value. But I would pre-read this one and stop where you feel like it's comfortable for you and your children. And the last one she read was set in Iraq. This was during the Persian Gulf War. As you can see here, it's based on a true story, and it's called Playing Atari with Saddam Hussein. And I pre read this one, and I really liked the perspective of the boy in this book. He was writing from a kid growing up in Iraq during the Persian Gulf War, whose town was being bombed during that time. And he shares his views about what he thought about Saddam Hussein and what he could and couldn't say in public and why. And he also talked about the way Americans would portray the war versus how it really was, that he was living it out. And I just thought it was a very interesting perspective. So this was one that she read and she enjoyed this one as well. So that is where we have ended. We went through Africa and we went through Asia, and both of those took a while. There's a lot of countries in Africa and Asia. We'll be moving into Europe next, and this is kind of kicking us off for second semester. And I will make sure to take a picture and insert it right here of the map and how far my daughter has gotten with labeling the countries of the world. So we'll start Europe coming up very soon, and I'll make sure to check back in with you guys and let you know how it's going. I can say the only adjustments we've made is the literature portion. I moved to ELA. It was taking too long and slowing us down to incorporate the reading of the literature and intertwining it with the assignments for the geography. So I decided just to move that to the literature portion of her ELA. That has helped keep the pace going a little more. Another thing is we're not doing the experiments for ecology. There are a lot of hands-on activities. If you want to give your child credit for ecology, you can give them one elective credit for ecology. This is in the teacher guide and in the description to kind of guide you on how credits work for this course or should work for this course. Obviously, it's ultimately up to you, but I do not personally think it's heavy enough to be given a science credit necessarily, but it's a great elective credit if you choose to continue to do the experiments and all the activities that go along with it. Excuse me, we simply just do not have enough time. And so we right now have just reached Europe. We still have North America, South America, Australia, and Antarctica, all to cram in second semester. So we're a little bit more behind than I wanted us to be, but that's okay. We are enjoying it and trying to somewhat take our time and not fly through it. Another thing I'm doing is picking and choosing the videos. I will always do geography videos. Some of the ecology videos we will watch, and some of the ecology videos we will skip. It just depends on the amount of time that we have spent and how much time we have left as far as the pace and me keeping everything moving. We just simply can't do every single piece. And I wish that we could, because I know it all has value. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that that geography credit is complete. At least I do. I would love for her to make sure that she has gotten through all of those credits. So that is kind of where we are. And I will make sure to hopefully do a better job to keep you posted on how things are going during second semester. But that's where we leave off today. I hope you guys are having a great homeschool year, and I'll see you in the next one.